I don't know who. Okay, it was me. The bad news is good morning. If you're brand new here, welcome. If you've been here before, are you feeling okay? I'm kidding. I appreciate it regardless if you've ever been here or not. Thank you for being right where you're at. I wouldn't change a thing. Let's put up rafters in this outdoor kitchen today. I know I have one started. I had to put one up. Well, I didn't have to. I was being lazy. I didn't want to do the math. So I put one up already so I could finish my walls on this side. For rafters, I'm using 2x8s. So I got 2x8 by 16s right here. The steel that I'm going to use, finished product, got the sun in my eyes. The steel I'm going to use is 16 feet long exactly. I haven't ordered it yet, and you can order it by the inch, so it doesn't have to be, but I'll just order 16s. Easy that way. So if my finished steel is 16 feet long, how long do my rafters have to be? Well, I punched it into my computer. So assuming I have a 1-inch overhang, especially on this end actually is the only overhang. And by overhang, I mean steel overhanging past everything else. Typically, I like the steel to go past everything about an inch. That way, if there's ever water blowing around, it probably won't get anything past that 1 inch. And then I'll have a piece of trim board about 1/2 inch. And then I'll have the fascia, I guess you want to call it, which is 1.5 inches. So the 1.5 inch is going to be on both sides, the 1/2 inch trim both sides, and then the 1 inch overhang will just be on this side because the top will have an outside corner piece of metal trim. So adding all that up is 5 inches. 5 inches off of 16 feet, 15 feet, 7 inches. So that's how long my rafters have to be, 15 feet, 7 inches. You know, I could use math and figure out exactly where my cuts are going to be and my birds' mouths and everything. I'm just going to set these boards up into place. I don't know exactly how much of a tail I want on this end versus overhang on the other end. So I'm just going to set it up into place and we'll mark it and we'll go from there. I also have to notch them for my flyers, meaning the little 2x4s that stick out that support the flown rafter. That's one thing I forgot to do when I built that. I'm not sure you remember that, but I had to get up on the ladder after the fact, cut those little notches so that I could slide my 2x4s in there. I think this will all be clear a little bit later. Well, I have my end rafter cut, notched, and in place. So that's ready to go. By now, some of you may be asking, why didn't I just run these beams long on each side and put the very last rafter on the beams? You know, you could do that. Certainly you can do that. I wanted to kind of mimic the look of the cabin though, just for the look more than anything. So just like I did with this end rafter here, what I want to do is put this siding on the outside of this, just so my bird's mouth captures that siding as well. That way we're all on the same plane. This end I'm not worried about any siding. First of all, there's not going to be any notches that will get in the way. So once I'm all said and done, I'll probably put some trim board or something up there. It's the same with the inside of these beams. Not the most attractive beams. Got some checks and some marks and some red lines and whatnot. So I'll probably cover that up with maybe cedar boards. I think that's a great idea. So I cut my second end rafter last episode. So I'm going to use that for a template for all the other rafters I'm going to cut. So you see I already cut the notches here for the flyers that go to the flown rafter. You know, there's more than one way to fly a rafter. I guess the other way to do it is to make a ladder rafter, which is basically a ladder that you attach to the building, and that becomes your overhang. You know, I've just done it like this so many different times in almost everything I build. I know I'm a creature of habit to a certain extent, so I'm just going to do it the same way. It's going to work out just fine. Well, I'm going to lay out all these rafters and cut them and start putting them on the kitchen. Whew, starting to warm up. Well, I have 3 rafters in the books. Maybe you noticed that I did not cut all of my rafters to begin with. I have 2 more to cut. You saw me cut some blocks instead. The reason was I'm running out of battery. Somebody forgot to plug the batteries in last night. I don't know who. Okay, it was me. I admit it, it was me. Some days I'd fire me, but you know, I'd get nothing done if I'd fire me. Okay, on those blocks, 24-inch centers, space between rafters on 24-inch centers is 22.5 inches. So therefore, I cut everything at 22 3/8 of an inch, because wood seems to grow, you know, in situations like this where you have to tap it into place and adjust things. Always make it an 1/8 inch shorter and stuff like this. I don't think you'll ever regret that. So I have 1 bar of 1 battery left, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut rafters. I have 2 to cut, like I said. I'll cut these until I run out of battery. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So that's about right. I have enough blocks, I'm ready to go. So okay, let's put these rafters up. That's probably gonna be it for today. You know, when I was a little kid, hotter the better. Couldn't wait for summer. It was 100 degrees, I'd be happy. But the older I get, I don't know, heat just doesn't impress me as much as it used to. Well, let's cut and hang some more rafters. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. Good morning. How you doing? Well, as you can see, we have a gap right there. We're missing a rafter. Yes, my battery died yesterday, right before I was ready to cut that rafter. So I have 1 more rafter to cut, 1 block for each side, and then I can get going on my flyers. 7 o'clock on the dot right now. So let's see if we can get this episode wrapped up, oh, let's say by noon. 5 hours. Think I could do this in 5 hours? I don't know. Probably. I had someone ask me if it takes me much longer to do this kind of work when I have to video. Absolutely. About twice as long to do an average task when I'm filming. Got to set things down, move cameras, pick things up. The whole organization of everything. It takes a little bit of time. Even longer when I have to talk about it. So let's stop talking about it and get to work. You know, sometimes I get so engrossed in what I'm doing, I forget to check in with you. I just keep working and, oh yeah, that's right, I'm videoing this. As you probably saw, I didn't nail my flyers down completely until my barge rafter was on. And then I leaned up that board just so I could make sure that barge rafter is nice and straight, which it is. It looks pretty good. And then I went back and nailed everything down to the end rafter. Since it's only me, temporarily I just put that board right there so I know where the barge rafter ends. So I just butt it up against there, and then I know I'm good to go. Ultimately, that'll come down, and a 2x4 will go all the way across this end and the other end. Well, it's 10:30 right now. I feel like I'm falling behind schedule a little bit. A little bit slower. The warmer it gets, the slower I work. So let's put this barge rafter on, and then I'll put my 2x4s at the top and bottom of this roof, and I think that'll be it. Isn't this fun? Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is this episode's about over, so you can go back to living your normal, happy life. The bad news is I did not get enough lumber for those fascia boards, for those end boards. They're going to tie everything together. Did not get those 2x4s. I thought I did. Guess who forgot to order them? Karen. She did. My wife did. Don't look at me. Okay, it was me. Thought I had 2 extra 2x4s, but no, I didn't. So I'll just put them on in my leisure, or maybe next episode. I don't know. We'll get to it. That roof framing is just about done. Check it out. It's exciting. It's really starting to look like something now, huh? So next week I think we'll work on siding. Put some plywood up on the outside. Get that board and batten look going. Finish up the little odds and ends like that. Still got that little wall over there, that little section. I also have more of these to put up. H1 clips, I think. But I'm out of nails for that as well. So I need to go visit the lumber yard and pick up materials. Unless you want to do that for me, and I'll just meet you back here next week. I guess that won't really work, will it? It's hot. 11:30, so it's earlier than I thought, so that's a good thing. Well, you enjoy your week and weekend, and I'll meet you back here next week, and we'll keep going on this thing. And we'll just see what kind of fun transpires. Until then, you take care of yourself. I'll see you next week.